Welcome back. I hope you've all had a great week so far, and if you haven't, I hope that Belle Gibson will be able to take your mind off of things. This is part 2 of the Australian TV show Cider Vinegar. I'm going to do a quick recap of what happened in the last part, but remember, if you want more details, you can either watch the show or go back and watch the last part. Anyway, last time we met Belle Gibson, a woman who is sitting in crisis management because the media has been reporting on her fake brain cancer. It all started in 2010. Belle was expecting her first child and she'd thrown a little party for her mom and a few coworkers, but she ended up getting stood up by all of them. And that was the day she felt it, like something was wrong with her. She went and got an MRI scan before heading home, where she proceeded to open her laptop and type out a post about how hard her life is. None of her friends support her and it's stressing her out, and to top it all off, she has medical issues that she needs to deal with. Of course, when she says that, people grow curious. What medical issues? And she tells them she's been diagnosed with brain cancer, even though the papers sitting on the table next to her in front of her laptop say there's nothing wrong with her. The moment she hits enter on that post, a flood of random internet strangers send her their love and sympathy, and she loves it. One of the comments points her in the direction of a blog written by someone named Mila. Mila has been diagnosed with cancer as well. She was a normal 22-year-old living up life when she saw these strange bumps on her arms. When she went to the hospital, they told her that the bumps were cancerous, and they recommended amputating the limb to stop the spread of the disease. But Mila is an attractive 22-year-old, and she wasn't about to just give up her arm like that. Instead, they went through some experimental drug trials, which seemed to have worked for a bit before the cancer came back with a vengeance. But she knew in her soul that amputation and chemotherapy were wrong for her. She's hell-bent on finding a way, her way to cure the disease. Somewhere along both of their journeys, they get tangled up with each other, and now Mila wants to destroy Belle, and Chanel, one of Mila's oldest friends and Belle's ex-manager, is going to help her do it with the help of Justin. Justin is an investigative reporter for a newspaper, but his wife, Lucy, has recently been diagnosed with breast cancer. She was scrolling through Instagram looking at survivors when a video of Belle crossed her feed. Belle was glowing, full of life, and she didn't go through chemotherapy. So Lucy becomes obsessed with her. She follows everything Belle tells her, and she can't see that Belle is full of shit. But Justin knows that he's going to lose his wife if she keeps listening to Belle. We left off with Justin talking to Chanel about Belle's lies. Going back to past Mila at the yoga retreat, she's sitting on top of a rock writing her blog post about the right way of treatment for her, and that way for her is the Hirsch Institute. The Hirsch Institute is a protocol in Mexico. It's super strict and labor intensive, and you have to be chosen. She pulls up a video of Alma, the current CEO of the Institute, and Alma starts telling us about the foundation of this space. Walter, my father, German Jewish, starving after the First World War, and yet it was when he was starving that he started to heal. Fate or luck, Walter came to America. They tell my father, "You cannot practice medicine, Walter. You do not speak English." He learns English. They say, "You cannot practice medicine, Walter. You are not registered as an American doctor." He aces his American exams. Finally, he's allowed to practice, and he cures people of cancer just through diet. So simple. Now, is the American Medical Association interested in what he knows? No, they shut down his practice because they believe only their medicine can cure cancer. My father didn't believe in that sort of medicine because he knew the truth. People cure themselves all the time. When we're in harmony with the natural world, all the answers exist in nature if you pay attention. Mila looks into the ocean with a slight smile on her face. For the first time in a long time, she feels hopeful. Back with Chanel in present day, she's sitting in front of Justin and Sean while Justin questions her. Did she admit to you she's lying? She'd rather eat broken glass. So you think she's lying? No, I know it for a fact. How? You guys are close friends? Well, we have matching tattoos. Has there been a bit of a falling out recently? I'm I'm sorry, do you think I'd be here because of a bit of a falling out? The thing you need to understand is Belle doesn't have friends. She has hosts. And if, and only if, she decides you might be valuable, she'll find a way to attach herself. And in 2015 at Beverly Hills, it seems like Heck is useful because as he's walking out of work for the day, he sees Belle crouched in tears near the exit. She's got the top buttons of her shirt unbuttoned and she's hyperventilating. Heck can't help but ask if she's okay, to which she tells him that the Ubers keep canceling on her and it's causing a panic attack. He reluctantly drives her home as we hear Chanel's voice in the background. When she tries to hide it, that's when it's calculated. Maybe you feel sorry for her, or maybe you want to fuck her, which would be misguided, or maybe you're flattered. She just seems so interested. It's like she can see something in you that nobody else can. A weakness. It's a magic trick, because before you know it, you're bending over backwards to meet all her needs, which, believe me, are many. End of day, she'll find the hero and the victim. Belle manages to convince Heck to come inside for a little bit, where the two start bonding over drinks. Heck tells her all about this world where you do one interview in an environment you control. You pick the journalist, you look at the questions beforehand. She pours him more drinks and makes him fresh homemade meals as she goes on about how different the States are compared to Australia. It's so different here in the States. You're allowed to want things, but we tear down anyone who gets ahead of themselves. Combine that with a splash of misogyny. I mean, how dare a young woman try to succeed in business? They've misunderstood my entire ethos. I don't care about money, same way I never wanted to talk about cancer. All I wanted to talk about was how to be well. Give people the tools they need to be whole. I wasn't telling them to drink bleach or stick their fucking coffee up their ass. I wasn't telling anyone to go off their meds. The app and the book, it's all just healthy recipes, Heck. Back with Chanel and Justin, Justin leans back in his chair. Chanel's story is not an easy one to prove, and Sean agrees. Even then, ethically, legally, we can't publish allegations about someone's health when it's not corroborated by facts. What if she was diagnosed with cancer just yesterday? What if she's mentally unwell? She lied! I mean, she's been lying for years! Our lawyers are going to say we need medical records, or do you know the name of her gynecologist? She doesn't have one. That's my whole point. Look, this is a big story. The people and the organizations that have enabled her, I mean, why didn't they care enough to check if she was legit? Why didn't I check? I'm not stupid or especially gullible, except that I clearly fucking am fucking stupid. I liked the story, the pretty pictures, her great taste in fonts, and I recommended her to people who aren't well, and I'll never be able to forgive myself for that. But do you understand? She's probably killing people with her lies, and Justin has to agree that she is killing people. He has a first-hand account on how she's doing it too. So they work digging up information about Belle. Her company, The Whole Pantry, was registered as a business name on January 16th, 2012, but Chanel knows that Belle has been hustling for a lot longer than that. So Sean goes further back, where he finds a company that was registered in 2010 called The Organic Baby. So Chanel uses the power of Facebook to figure out who Belle was in 2010. In 2010, Belle was in Melbourne and had just given birth to her son. A couple weeks later, she heads to this seminar about cutting-edge social media optimization strategies for business growth and influence, where the presenter is giving insights on how Facebook and Twitter can get you more business. In the middle of his presentation, though, the computer starts glitching out, and Clive, the IT guy, steps out. The presenter continues rather successfully without his slide deck, but Belle's attention has shifted to Clive. When the seminar ends, she gets up, fixes her hair, and makes sure the sandwiches that she has on her plate are perfectly placed before making her way over to Clive. Here, you wouldn't have eaten. Clive takes the plate and keeps his head down. Hey, can I ask you, you guys are all about portals, right? So I'm just wondering how you protect them from Google changing its algorithm whenever it feels like? Oh, yeah, you can't protect against them. Really? That's so interesting for your business model. Yeah, I just work for them, but it is just interesting. I'm Belle. I've been developing my own e-commerce. Oh, there's something in my eye. Sorry, give me a sec. I'm Belle. I've been developing my own e-commerce store, Organic Baby. I've done a lot of work on optimization, but I'm useless when it comes to back-end coding, shopping carts, all of that. She pulls out her business card and hands it to him while looking deeply into his eyes. No, that stuff, it's tricky, isn't it? Have you met Luke? You should probably set up a meeting with him. I'd prefer to talk to you, actually. The Rock, right? Do you have a card? They both part as Belle sends Mila a text. Hey Mila, the conference was a dud. No one knows anything. It's our time. XX, Belle. She makes her way into the apartment she shares with her boyfriend and is shocked when she sees her maybe 1-month-old son placed in front of the TV. She lifts him out of the seat he was in and sniffs his butt before gagging a little bit. Her boyfriend didn't change the baby's diaper. She finds him in the room putting on a shirt. You didn't notice he needs changing? We're out of nappies. I'm getting them now. You can't leave him in shit, Nathan. Belle, it's been a day. Ah, really? What'd you do today? We went for a walk. I changed the sheets. You don't need to change the sheets. You have to change the sheets. It's basic hygiene, Belle. Every 2 to 3 weeks, you must change the sheets. Be back in half an hour. He slams the door behind him and Belle decides it's time to head to the park. At the park, she's part of this new mother's gathering. She's bouncing her baby on her leg as she complains about Nathan. I don't need much. Just a little more help would be nice. Just a tiny bit more help would be nice. The other ladies in the group use this as a chance to vent their own feelings. Some of them want to run their husbands over because they get time to themselves while driving to work. Others are stuck at home with their mother-in-laws, which is a nightmare all on its own. And some others are slowly realizing that it's harder being at home with a baby rather than being at work. But Belle, she has to do both. And when she voices that, one of the ladies in the group goes, at least you're not breastfeeding. You guys can share the nights. But before Belle can respond to that, a baby pees and starts crying. Soon all the other babies join in on the peeing and the crying, and the mothers are all trying to comfort their kids when Belle puts out a couple of towels and hands it to some of the mothers cleaning up their kids. Does anyone else want one? I'm gonna start selling them on my site, Organic Baby. It's already #1 in Google for keywords. I just need to find a warehouse so I can start importing baby clothes, but also pre- and post-natal vitamins, all natural teething toys, all that. How are you so busy, Belle? Well, I have my health issues. I need to set up an income stream for my little man just in case. But at this point, no one is paying attention to her or all the other millions of other things she's doing. They're all busy trying to calm down their babies. The group parts and Belle immediately starts complaining to one of the ladies that she's walking with. Sorry if I'm not breastfeeding. I'm such a terrible mother. My baby didn't develop a sucking reflex. Sorry I don't have a fucking bugaboo in a house in fucking Brighton. I mean, I have to work. I want to work. Belle, Natasha isn't like that. You can see she had her hands full. If there's a disconnect between you guys, it's probably just a difference in age thing. Why? I'm 23. I thought you were 19. I'm 23. Lots of women have babies at 23. Oh, yeah, sure. I just mean like maybe you could find another group. It might be worthwhile joining 2 groups. She notices Belle's expression starting to turn sour, so she immediately starts apologizing. But Belle just scoffs, tells her that her baby has a flat head, and walks away. She goes to this little hill that's next to the ocean and sits down while holding her baby close. You're the best baby in the world. You don't need those other babies. You're the best baby. And it's hard to tell at this point if these words are for her kid or for her. Maybe she's telling herself that she doesn't need all the other moms. And these are just my thoughts, but I think that despite everything Belle did and will do, she truly does love her kid. She wants to give him everything she couldn't have. Back in 2015, her and Heck are sitting in the living room drinking another glass of wine as Belle asks about his family life. Did your wife stay at home when your girls were little? No, we mixed it up, but I should have done more. That's what she said in therapy, at least. Belle smiles a small smile. I went back to work 3 weeks postpartum. Other people have family or community, something. I was trapped in a shitty relationship, shitty life. That's how I grew up. I never wanted it for my kid. It would have been different if Mila was in the same city. We'd met online, but then had gotten so close. She had her own health issues, but even beyond that, we just got each other, and I have always celebrated Mila's wins. And one of those things she celebrated was Mila getting into Hirsch. She sent her a little text as she was walking away from the hill. "You got into Hirsch? OMG, amazing." And she actually got a response back from Mila. It read, "Thanks, hun. Love you. XXX." That response made her whole day. She drops her baby off at home and heads to work, where she tells her boss all about Mila and Hirsch, but her boss writes her off. "You don't need to go all that way to a health spa. It's a cancer clinic. Why don't I, Margaret?" "Okay, I'm taking my lunch now." "It's not 11 o'clock. I have treatment at 5. Food needs to be digested, so I'm taking lunch now." "I'm missing stock, Isabel." "What? No, I told you I borrowed a couple swaddles and half a dozen of the petite bateau suits. I'm not saying you've stolen them, Isabel. I took them home to photograph them for the site I'm making for your store. Here, look." Belle pulls out her phone and shows the website to Margaret, who doesn't really look impressed. "I didn't ask you to do that." "Because you're stuck in the past and you don't even know it. Brick and mortar retail has got 3 to 5 years max. You need me, Margaret." "Did you steal it or not?" Belle sticks with her answer. She didn't steal them. And so Margaret does what she thinks is best for her store. She fires Belle, and that leads to her boyfriend's head exploding. He wants to take her to court for wrongful dismissal, but Belle points out that they don't have any money. Nathan couldn't get a job before, so he sure as hell won't be able to get one now. So how are they going to pay for all the fees? But he points out her hypocrisy. "You're the one who wanted to work, Belle. I have a 4-month-old, Nathan. Do you really think I want to make $13.51 an hour? I want to build something meaningful that lasts." She gets in his face and he gets in hers. Now, Belle isn't saying that he's ever hit her, but she does feel threatened enough to take her child and lock herself up in the bathroom. Nathan pounds on the door, but Belle just sits down with her baby and cries. Nathan eventually calls his mom to complain, while Belle pulls out her phone and sends Mila another text. "Mila, need you, babe. I don't know what to do." 3 crying emojis. And of course, Mila replied just 15 days later. To be fair though, Mila at this time was in a heated argument with her dad in the middle of dinner. Going to Hirsch isn't cheap. It's $8,000 for 3 weeks, not including airfare. And on top of that, Mila's dad, who in my opinion seems to be the only logical one in the bunch, is appalled at the fact that Mila thinks that juice is the answer to cancer. "I'll go down to the shops right now. I'll make you as many juices as you'll like. But you need to go back and see Dr. Shu. Look, love, when you build a house, you hire someone with a builder's license. Dad, this isn't a house, it's my body. When you put in plumbing, you hire a plumber, a tradesman, someone who's studied it. If someone's promising you something that sounds too good to be true, do you know what, Mila? It is." But Mila is too far gone to hear her father's words, and I mean it both in like a figurative and a literal sense. She walked away in the middle of her dad's little speech. Back in her room, she's frantically typing away on her laptop. The enemy of wellness is negative energy. Her mom pokes her head into Mila's room, and almost immediately Mila starts insulting her father's intelligence. He thinks doctors are gods, and he's not smart enough to question them. Look, he's just having a moment. Hey, he loves you more than anything in the world. I know what you've sacrificed for me, okay, Mom? I've seen you prioritize my education above everything, but haven't you done that so I can make my own decisions, so that I can do the research and look at the science and understand it? I don't want to die or die without trying because he doesn't get the science." Later that night, Mila's mom has to listen to her husband's side of things. "I'm not going to let her bully us into this. I'll call Shu tomorrow. He'll have something to say about this Hirsch thing. He'll know all about it." And I guess that pushes Mila's mom over the edge because she jumps out of bed and starts power washing the driveway in the middle of the night. Her husband looks at her like she's crazy, and the sound wakes Mila, who comes out equally as confused. All of a sudden, the water stops and her mom takes a deep breath. "I'm gonna use Nana's money. She'd like that. And, well, I've never been to Mexico. Mila's filled to the brim with joy as she rushes over to hug her mom, and just like that, Mila's journey at Hirsch begins. Hirsch is being run by Alma, who is this old wrinkly lady that looks like she should be enjoying retirement rather than killing people, but I guess the heart wants what it wants because she's leading the fight against doctors with her fresh and pesticide-free fruits and vegetables. Fresh fruits and fresh vegetables, pure of pesticides, when correctly consumed, repair the DNA damage of the body. At the Hirsch Institute, we provide the support and the tools to heal your body by overhauling your lifestyle from the inside out. Mila travels to Mexico and makes her way to literally what I would call a resort. They've got pools and views, they've got fresh cut veggies and just squeezed juices. It's more like a vacation spot than a spot where people are treated for having cancer. Mila gets settled in her room to get ready for her enema. A variety of coffee is appropriate, ranging from gold, green, and white to light and medium roasts. Dark roasts aren't appropriate because the potent compounds have all been roasted out. Coffee should be organic, and we recommend fair trade sustainable beans. I want a strong, skinny latte up my butt to go, please. Mila's mom has a little chuckle before they get the coffee in the tube set up to go up Mila's butt. Her mom sits there petting Mila's hair as Mila lays there getting injected. Does it hurt? No. It's fine. Well, when I'm old and broken, you'll do stuff like this for me too. I'm gonna be there, Mom. I know you will, Mila. Back with Heck and Belle, they're drinking the night away. Belle is pouring him drink after drink when Clive walks in with Belle's little boy. Clive says his hellos before going to put the kid to bed. Belle leans back on the sofa as Heck looks at Clive's retreating back in confusion. I thought you said you were a single mom. Nathan's back in Melbourne. That's Clive. Oh, Clive. Clive lives here? Of course, he's the one that saved me. When Belle had locked herself and her baby in the bathroom, she was fishing around her pocket for something when her hand catches on a card. She pulls it out to find Clive's card that she had gotten during the conference, and an idea strikes her. The next thing we know, she and her baby boy are in Clive's house, and he hands her some tea. Clive actually looked like he had a life. He's got a few pictures in his apartment of him with his family or on vacation. Belle smiles with tears in her eyes as she holds her cup of tea. Did I invite myself over? Jesus, Belle, get it together. I wasn't doing anything. I was just, She asks about his family and Clive answers, a little excited to be talking about them. And when the conversation dries up, Clive starts another. So did you, was there something... Did you want to show me what you were working on? At that, Belle breaks down into tears. Clive looks genuinely worried as he sits on the coffee table to be across from her. Belle tells him all about how Nathan isn't a bad person and how her health issues are just causing so many problems. At that story, Clive's heart melts and he lets Belle and the baby sleep in his bed while he takes the couch. Once the baby goes to sleep though, Belle sneaks her way to the couch. Clive is startled for a second and Belle smiles at him. Hi, I was wondering, can I show you what I've built so far? Clive nods his head eagerly and Belle pulls up her website on his laptop and she starts biting her nails anxiously as Clive scrolls through it. I know it's only baby clothes, it's not gonna change the world or anything. No, it's great, clean, elegant. You did this all yourself? How? Self-taught? Clive looks in awe at everything Belle has managed to achieve, and the next thing we know, they're ripping each other's clothes off. Clive's eyes catch on this little tube thing that's stuck to the top of Belle's breast. That's where they drip in all the poison. We don't have to do anything if you don't want to. But Belle pushes forward. She really, really wants this. Clive interrupts them again after a few seconds. Can I ask how old you are? Because I think I might be too old for you. I'm an old soul, and I think you might be perfect. I'm pushing 40. Really? I'm gonna throw you the best party. They both chuckle and go right back to their steamy night. In the middle of their passion though, Belle turns to the side and stares directly at you. Imagine if this became a threesome. And then we're transported back to 2015 where Heck is in her living room watching as she and Clive eat each other's faces. And Heck must be really drunk because he doesn't look the slightest bit uncomfortable watching the two of them sucking face. Instead, he laughs as he pours himself himself more wine and waits as Belle draws herself away from Clive. When she finally does, Heck decides it's time to call a friend who does home deliveries. A couple minutes later, there's white powder on Belle's coffee table. Heck cuts the powder into lines. Isn't that bad for your brain? When you're me, you learn you only live once. And so the party begins. They do their coke, drink their alcohol, dance around, all while Clive is in the kitchen throwing out the food they didn't eat and cleaning the dishes. But the part I find so funny during this whole thing is that even when Heck is high as hell, he and Belle still argue about the existence of her tumors. He doesn't believe her even when he's high, and she sticks to her lie even when she's high. The night ends with the two of them jumping in Belle's pool, which, if you ask me, is a stupid fucking move to pull. Do not jump in a pool when you're high and drunk. Shortly after Belle and Clive had sex for the first time, he helped her move out. Clive actually looked so excited to live with Belle, but her attention was, as he was helping her move out, is on her phone. Have you heard of Instagram? It's meant to be like a hipstamatic, but with better filters. A smile lights up her face as she makes her first Instagram account under the handle @BelleMelbourne. As Clive helps set up the baby crib, Belle is sitting on the floor on her phone posting her first pictures. They're innocent first posts, one of her feet getting wet by the waves at the beach, one of her baby boy, one of her and Clive in bed, and it continued like that for months. This was also the time she became a regular at Lucy's cafe. The likes at this point weren't crazy. She would get at most like 40. She wasn't an influencer by any means, but her life was stable for once. She had a wonderful, supportive boyfriend and an adorable child, but she was dissatisfied because while she would get a measly 40 likes, Mila's posts under her handle @Greenstone Healing, which were all about her cancer journey, would get upwards of 20,000. So the next time Clive drives her to the hospital, she stands in front of the hospital in a Fund Cancer shirt. While Belle is still trying to dig her feet in, Mila is taking off. She finishes her Mexico treatment and is now on the news for beating cancer with a juice-only diet and writing a book about it. The reporters absolutely love the book, and Mila is more than happy to answer all of their questions. Could you explain to us what Hirsch therapy is? Yes. So the treatment starves the cancer cells of anything they need to grow and nourishes them with anything they need to die. Pretty much that's the simple version. There's a lot of science behind it. For 2 years, we have to drink 13 fresh organic juices a day, 1 on the hour every hour. Of course, the reporter has to add, and 5 coffee enemas a day. Am I reading this right? Mila laughs. Don't knock them till you try them. Do you want one? I wouldn't sleep for a bloody week, but you do look incredibly well. Thank you. Honestly, I've never felt better, and it's not just about being cancer-free. I'm really grateful I listened to my body and have given it what it needs. This is the interview that Belle is watching in Brisbane 2011 as Clive is driving the family somewhere. He looks over at Belle's screen. Do you want to see her while we're here? She's in Brisbane, yeah? But Belle's mind isn't really on Mila at the moment, which is surprising because I think she thinks about Mila a whole lot more than she thinks about her own life. We find out that the entire family is actually on their way to Belle's hometown to see Belle's mother. Her mom is getting remarried, and Belle is sure it's going to be a shit show. As they drive, they pass by a skateboarding park where Belle remembers her teenage days. She was an edgy kid back then, a very different aesthetic than what she is now, which is fair. I know very few people who still have the same aesthetic they had back in middle school. They arrive at Belle's childhood home where her mom's fiance, Andrew, is the first one out to greet them. He's all smiles as he greets Clive, who is also the only one to get out of the car. Belle's mom comes out a minute after her fiance, and Belle groans before getting out and getting her son from Clive. Belle's mom shows the family to their room, and Belle is grimacing as she looks around. There are cats laying on the bed. We're sleeping here tonight? I'm just gonna wash the sheets. Why? No one has slept here. I'm allergic to cat fur, Mother. Are you? Since when? Belle shoots her mom a look. Since always. And it's not just their sleeping arrangements that Belle is unhappy with. Her mom's kitchen doesn't have anything that meets Belle's standards, but she sucks it up as Clive cooks and Belle's mom's fiance, Andrew, grills. The dinner is a bit strained. It's silent for the first bit. Andrew tries to feed the baby some of his meat, but Belle pulls it away because it's full of salt and sugar. And then Belle's mom brings up the past. She's a born actress, this one. Do you remember talking your way into that musical theater troupe? She knew everyone's lines, all the songs, not just her own. And Clive can't help but agree as he goes to feed the crying baby. Belle does the best bedtime stories. She does all the voices and sings all the songs. How did we end up with such lovely men, Belle? Not even his own child, and he's helping out. We don't make that distinction in our family, Mom. You'll have to start trying for one of your own soon. I would have worked more if I had any help, Clive. I was in the travel business for 2 years, Mom. No, it was a lot longer than that, and before that, tennis for a fair amount of time. Turns out that Belle's mom was training for the Olympics, but then she developed MS. Andrew can't help but praise how brave Belle's mom is and how she never lets anyone else feel her pain, and Belle lets out an audible scoff. This guy clearly doesn't know her mom very well. He then leaves to get more beer, and Belle's mom tries to start up another conversation. How's your business, babe? My health, you mean? You're not interested in my health? Brain cancer, but okay. Now, why would you want to talk about that at a party? It's not a party. We talked about your MS just now. Well, I want to talk to you about your business. What's it called again? Organic Baby. It's going fine, Mom. Thanks for asking. Bringing in lots of money? Enough. Oh, she puts so much pressure on herself, Clive. You're gonna have to watch that. That's your job now. Do you remember how ambitious you were when you were in high school? I didn't live here in high school. I ran away at 12. You failed to notice, Mom. Well, even in primary school, she'd watch everything. Vivacious, a foreign correspondent, and a current affair 60 Minutes. She would practice interviewing people. She would harass all the neighbors in the street. The cutest thing you ever saw. Big fat belly wandering down the streets with a pretend microphone in her hand. She would tell the world, I'm gonna be on TV. And now look at you, all grown up. A wife, someone's wife. We're not married. Oh, well, partner, excuse me, and a mother, don't forget, and happy. I've never seen you so happy. You used to think you had to achieve so much. Funny how it all works out in the end, eh? I think that little boy is still hungry, though. Belle stays silent throughout her mom's speech, but you can tell she's very unhappy. Later that night, as she's putting the wash sheets back on the mattress, Clive walks in a little bit frazzled. That was, you ran away when you were 12? Belle, where did you go? Do you know how old I was when I learned you had to change the sheets? I didn't know you had to change the sheets. She let me sleep in dirty sheets for years. Seeing the imminent breakdown, Clive pulls her into a hug, and Belle lets out a sob before composing herself again. I'm not ordinary. To survive her, I'm extraordinary. I had to be. The next morning, while Clive and her son are fast asleep, Belle is typing away on her laptop. She's working on a proposal. Change your life one meal at a time. Her phone dings, interrupting her thinking. It's a notification about Mila's tour. She's hosting a book signing in Brisbane that day. When she sees that, she slips out of bed, and while she's drinking her morning coffee, she scrolls through all the flyers regarding the event. And soon enough, she makes up her mind. She shoots Mila a text. Millie, I'm in Brisbane, coming to see you. She's got this really cute burgundy dress on with a little braid in her hair as she pushes the doors to Mila's book signing open. The vibe is very boho. Some people have these flower crowns on their heads, and most of them have broken off into small groups to mingle. People are eating, drinking, laughing. They all look like they're genuinely having a good time. Belle finds a seat and waits as Mila gets ready backstage. She's applying lipstick, and her mom applies a bit of foundation to Mila's arm where the scars from the bumps that used to be on her arm were. She heads out to a clapping and smiling audience, and the first thing she does is send air kisses everyone's way before she starts talking. Hi everyone. Oh my gosh, you guys look amazing. What a beautiful group of people. You probably know me already, but I was thinking we could start with something to learn a little bit more about each other. So if you want to turn to the person next to you and say hello, introduce yourself, maybe a high five, a hug, that's it. That's right. Because we're all here because we're in pain, right? or we're tired, or we're sad, and we don't want to feel like that anymore. And I want you all to fill your lungs up with love and gratitude. And now, exhale. And then this beautiful man who was not yet my man gave me a stone, and it reminded me just how much magic there was in the world where we just don't give it credit for. And it was that moment that I started not thinking with my head, but feeling with my body. Okay, that's enough sad stuff. Everyone up. Come on, let's go and let's shake it all out. Get all that negative energy out. Anything that's holding you back, you're a clean slate. Inside your bag, there's a balloon. Grab it. I want you to think of an intention and I want you to blow it into the balloon. Go. Everyone blows their balloon with all of their strength before they tie them up and throw them into the air. Everyone is now smiling and laughing. Mila's exercises are helping these people feel more joy. She's really good at engaging a crowd, and it's kind of unbelievable. Mila's mom has a gentle smile on her face as she thinks back to a lesson that Alma gave during the Hirsch Institute. I slipped on the towel in my bathroom, 2 fractures in my pelvic bone not 2 months ago. 2 fractures at my age? It's an accepted fact. You'll never get out of bed again. Alma gets off the stool that she was sitting on and gives her butt a little shake. My father had a similar case. The x-rays are in the book. Have you got the book? Everyone but Mila nods, and Alma's hawk eyes zero in on this. You're not nodding. Such a pretty face, like a heart. Have you got the book? I ordered it, but it didn't arrive in time. There's no point in coming if you don't have the book. You will buy the book today. So now we begin. 50 years ago, Mila's mom turns to look at Mila surprised. She leans in close and whispers, "You said you read it." "I read the articles, Mom." Shh. Mila's mom doesn't like that answer, but she seems pretty spineless when it comes to her daughter, so instead, when they head back to their room, she gets the book and reads it while Mila is sleeping. She's halfway through the book when she throws a concerned glance at Mila. The next day, she meets with Alma privately. "You're right, we should have read it beforehand. Perhaps you were not ready. I was interested in how you recommended no scans for 8 to 12 months. At least, yes. Oncologists can't help themselves. Scan, scan, scan. They love their big machines, and we become more vulnerable every time. Do you know how many toxins are transmitted by these machines? But then, how do you track whether the cancer is spreading? How do you know I'm not a crook? My father was not a crook." "Oh, no, I'm just saying that if there's no data, you're the mother. To worry is your job. She's a special girl. I've been reading her blog. Good words. Needs more video content. Maybe she likes it here. She writes about us, becomes a brand ambassador. Up to her. We have more business than we need. Why are you here? Do you know yet?" "My mom had bowel cancer. She hated chemo." "Of course, it's poison." "And it didn't work?" "She came to live with us. I nursed her, put her on the toilet, lifted her off the toilet. She couldn't walk, couldn't eat, couldn't bathe herself. Terrible, traumatic for the both of you. So you know that it doesn't work. You're here for hope. That's a good reason. Walter, my father, Jewish German, starving during the First World War. He had migraines, crippling from when he was a boy. And yet, it was when he was starving that he started to heal. It is raining over here, so sorry if you hear any thunder. Back at Mila's book signing, her mom sees Mila's face lit up with joy, a joy she never got to see on her sick mom's face while she was being treated for cancer. Belle is also smiling from ear to ear. When Mila looks at her, her smile grows even bigger, her nose scrunches, she shrugs her shoulders and waves. After the main event, the crowd is left to mingle and eat while Mila signs each person's book and talks to them. One woman goes up to Mila to ask about her sister. "I was hoping to chat with you a little bit about my sister. She's struggling at the moment. She's looking for alternatives, even though she's been to doctors, because they just got back to her with really bad news, actually. She's really but she gets interrupted when Belle appears by Mila's side with a plate of fruits. She extends the plate towards Mila. "Here, hon, you wouldn't have eaten." "Oh, no, that's okay. I'm juicing." Belle's smile falls off her face as Mila goes back to talking to the other woman. She blinks for a few moments before interrupting the conversation again. "You need an agent for all your inquiries?" I have one, a manager." Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that. Mila once again turns her attention back to the woman, and Belle stands there shocked for a few moments before jumping back in again. I loved the session. Full body goosebumps. Thanks for coming. Belle. Belle, I'm Mila. This is Maureen. Maureen, right, sorry. No, Mila, I'm Belle. Belle Gibson? Mila looks confused for a second before her face lights up. Right, autoimmune. No, the brain cancer. Right, wow, how are you? How are you doing? You look so well. Can we go for a walk and talk? There's a cafe around the corner. I downloaded the menu. It looks pretty safe. Oh, my mom is here, so, Tamara's here. I'd love to say hi to her too. We really have to get home. Sorry, I've got juice. I actually had an idea for that I wanted to talk to you about. A way to track where you're up to that could be automated, but a meal planner of sorts? I'm sorry, I really do have to go. She turns back to Maureen. Tell your sister to contact me anytime. Mila walks away, leaving behind a shattered Belle. You know what they say, never meet your heroes in real life. Belle had built up this image of Mila in her mind. Texting Mila every now and then made Belle believe that her and Mila were thick as thieves, when in real life, Mila doesn't remember anything about Belle or her made-up disease. On her way back home, Belle can't help but stop in front of house number 16. She watches as a man who looks like he's in his early 30s is wheeling his trash can out, and her brain flashes back to her middle school years, where she had rung the doorbell of this very house, and the same man, who was of course a bit younger looking, opened the door. I could be wrong, but I think that it's implied that this is the house that she went to when she ran away when she was 12. When his eyes catch Belle's though, she drives away. At home, her mom is pissed. Her own mother's wedding, the one thing I've ever asked for. Clive, who's packing up their stuff, tries to defend. It's just these headaches that, you know, once they come on, gotta get her into a dark room, let her decompress, and yeah, I'll talk to her. Yeah, she won't listen to you. You know, I wasn't exaggerating about Annabelle's acting ability. I'll never forget when she was dumped by her first boyfriend. She faked a heart attack. It was so convincing that they called an ambulance. Sound familiar? The honk of a car breaks the conversation. Belle's mom shoots Clive a pitiful look before sending him on his way. And in the car, Clive can't help but look at Belle as she downs a pill. He doesn't know what to believe anymore. His mind is running 100 miles per hour, but he stays quiet. Instead, Belle is the one to break the silence. What did Mom say? Nothing. Belle scoffs before turning her accusatory gaze on Clive. Yes, she did. Was it about my health? She finds it hard to share attention. And Clive looks at her while thinking back to that day that he dropped her off at the hospital and she was taking photos of her Fund Cancer shirt. He'd laughed at her cuteness when he had seen her taking photos, and then he drove away. But a few feet later, he looked over to Belle's seat and realized that she forgot her laptop. So he took the baby and the laptop and went into the hospital to look for Belle. But when he talks to the receptionist, she tells him something really strange. Oh, no, we don't do any chemo here. Yeah, I just dropped my partner off out the front. Are you sure it's chemotherapy today? We have a breast clinic. No, it's chemo. She's actually getting her port out. Can I ask what sort of cancer it is? Clive thinks about it. He tries really, really hard to come up with an answer. Surely Belle has mentioned this sometime before. His palms start sweating and his voice starts shaking. I'll call her, yeah. And he never called her. And he doesn't bring it up in the car that day either. Instead, he holds her hand and tells her that they never have to go back to that house ever again. Much later in the drive, when the baby is fast asleep, Clive speaks up again. Hey, I mean, like, not now, but I think I would like to try for a baby if you wanted one. Okay, I'm definitely stopping treatment. I can't get anything done with the brain fog anyway. I think I've known it for some time. I just stopped listening to my intuition. I want to pull down organic baby. It's too small conceptually. I mean, that's startups. The first never works. It's always the second. Blogs are dead. The speaking circuit is too small. I don't need a standing ovation. I want to do an app. one that tracks recipes, gives health advice, like food diary. You always know what's in your pantry. You always know what you're putting in your body. To be well is to be whole. I want to be on every person's phone, integrated into every meal, always right there in the palm of your hand like a coach, or a mom reminding you to look after yourself, or a friend, like the best friend you've ever had. And that was the moment Belle made up her mind. When she got home, she deleted everything she collected regarding Mila and her methods. Screw the blog, screw the speaking events. She changed her Instagram handle from @BelleMelbourne to @HealingBelle. Her app, The Whole Pantry, was born. She blew up on Instagram, and that's the Belle that Lucy is seeing all the way in 2015. She's sitting in another session of chemo while scrolling through The Whole Pantry's recipes when her husband walks in. He gives her a forehead kiss and Lucy smiles. How was work? Interesting. Why don't we get you some yum cha and I'll tell you all about it. Maybe not yum cha. She sets down her phone that's open to one of Belle's recipes. Justin's face falls as he stands up. Right, dumplings not on the meal plan, not on the app. Are you all right? You seem all twitchy. She's fake, Luce. I have a source who knows her, a close personal friend, came in off the street to say that Belle Gibson has faked her entire cancer diagnosis. No, she hasn't, Justin. I want you to delete the app, Lucy. I've met her. She's sick. I don't think so, which is some seriously sinister shit. I mean, think about it. She's doing something good, something that's genuinely helping people. Oh, fuck, Lucy, she's preying on you. Why are you being so stupid? Lucy ends the argument there because their voices are getting too loud for a public space. Realizing that Lucy isn't listening to him anymore, he chases down the doctor instead. You know I can't talk to you without Lucy present. Yeah, I know, it's for an article. The age about a woman faking terminal brain cancer. Allegedly, she's meant to have cured herself using healthy eating. Is that possible? No. You can say that without looking at any scans? Yes. May I ask how? I went to medical school. Lucy idolizes her. You need to say something, please. And the doctor is over it. She won't listen. They don't, in my experience. Justin, I'm very busy, but let me know how I can help with the story. I hate these people. There's a lot of us that do. Back at Belle's house, Heck is throwing up in front of the bushes in front of her house as his car pulls up. Why don't you stay over so you don't have to come back for your car? Heck wipes his mouth before standing up straight. I'm fine, okay? Ground rules. You do exactly what I tell you to do. Yes, boss? No paid interviews. Yes, boss. Heck gets into his car, Belle waves him goodbye, he drives away, and the girl who was having trouble standing up straight until now uncurls herself and closes the door with a small smile on her face. And there's this glint in her eyes that tells you that she's proud of what she's accomplished today, like everything is going exactly according to plan. And that is the end of episode 2. God, this show is just so good, not only because of the story, but also the acting. Each and every character pulled their weight, in my opinion. I hate most of them for reasons that I will save for a little bit later, but there is one character that we have to talk about right now. Alma. Guys, I think she's such a villain. I haven't seen her talked about a whole lot on Reddit, but that woman is vile. She not only forces the people attending to pay exorbitant amounts of money, but on top of that, they have to buy some stupid book and can't have scans for 8 to 12 months. Like, she's fucking insane. Like, think about it. The stupid institute accepts only a few people who apply. So what's stopping them from admitting cases that they know are hopeless or cases that they know will survive? Feeding them a bunch of bullshit, stopping them from having scans done. There's only 2 possible outcomes. Either that person survives long enough, and then of course they're going to tell the tale of Hirsch and how amazing it is, or you simply die before you can out them for the con that they are. And the sad thing is that Alma is really freaking good with marketing and people. She's running such a successful business. It's just such a shame that it has to be this one that she chose. And honestly, this is a sentiment I have about both Mila and Belle as well, but I'll expand on that one a little bit later. that is all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I am once again sorry for being MIA for a little bit. Work has been busy. I was on vacation for a bit, but hopefully I'll get back to regular uploads at least for like the next bit until work gets busy inevitably again. Anyway, I will see you all next week. Bye!